Lifting straps are really, really underrated because they undoubtedly help you complete more reps, actually improve your grip and your strength, and get more gains. Now, this lifting strap that I'm using personally is from Suez Star, if you guys can see it. It's I got this off Amazon just 2 months ago, and essentially what this lifting strap does is that, wait, let me just put it on real quick, right over here. And once you put these on and actually complete a set of pull-ups, rows, seated rows specifically, or just anything related with dumbbells that have those little, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but those diagonal line imprints on them that make your hand have like a cheese grater appearance on them. Me personally, that's what I have in my gym. Now, once you use these types of dumbbells, rows, pull-ups, anything that has sort of them, also doesn't uniquely have to be the cheese grater pattern that you see on those dumbbells that actually like ingrain your hand and make it actually more difficult and feel more pain when you're actually doing the rep, which means you're not actually going to failure with on the muscle itself, but rather because of your grip, because of the pain of the external factor that's causing it. So right here I have it on. Actually, these also serve as a very good winter gloves, by the way. So I could text on my phone. I could do whatever I want to do, like just anything, rather than actually getting real gloves. I've seen this actually as a very viable option. Like just last week, I was actually going to the gym with these when it was raining and it was very cold. So that was very good. Now, especially with these types of lifting gloves, let me just grab one dumbbell real quick. Now, I have these at home actually. I don't use these, but I do go to the gym, and these aren't the cheese grater ones that you usually see. But once you're trying to like, I don't know, like do a rep or something like that, don't question my form, by the way. I'm just trying to show it for you guys. But once you're doing a rep, once your grip gets fatigued and your hand feels like it's about to fall off, it's not actually your muscle, it's your hand because of this grip. Now, I don't feel much because of it because I have the lifting gloves on, but it does make a pretty noticeable difference when I feel like when I'm doing pull-ups or anything that has to do with your hands crumpling or getting overstrained rather than the actual muscle, which is probably your lats for pull-ups or your back and your maybe even your shoulders or any other muscle groups. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but I know there are other muscle groups that are involved in this process, and I also do know that I could complete much more reps actually feeling the pain going up and down very, very slowly for more reps. I'm not saying that you really need to rely on these. I'm not saying that it's a much of a real game changer, but it certainly is if you're trying to perfect like how much reps you can get it in the muscle hypertrophy. That's worked in my experience, and after using this for like 2 months off of Amazon, real quick, when I got these back in like I think August or July when I came back to New York from India. Right after, by the way, quick story, I broke my phone while I was paragliding. These did confirm that. And I was actually doing hammer curls with these and bicep curls with dumbbells in India. And as I explained before, the cheese grater type of pattern would ingrain itself into my hand, and it would like the grip would get messed up. My hand was hurting way, way, way more, and it was just a very big task for me to do. But once I had these lifting gloves, it became a lot more easier. Not because I was like cheating or anything, but because I was actually working the muscle that was needed, and I started to realize my reps started to go a lot slower, meaning I was actually going to failure. And you don't need to train to failure every single time, okay? I'm not that jacked myself. I'm just started out like 2 months ago. You can't solely rely on me, but I have noticed that these lifting gloves do make a pretty noticeable difference in how much actual reps you can do for your muscle, like your lats and maybe others for your pull ups, rows, specifically seated rows, and anything that involves like dumbbells that especially have the cheese grater like imprints on them that imprint them into your hand and make that pattern. For example, like actually I can't give a real example right now, but I think you guys know what I mean when like something ingrains yourself into your hand, it like creates a pattern. For example, like if I had, for example, this AirPod case. Now, imagine this was a dumbbell. Okay, you know what? That's a bad example. This is a dumbbell. Now, imagine if this had a lot of tiny holes, and you were gripping it tightly, not so tightly, but enough to feel the difference, enough to feel enough of a lot of pain while you're doing the rep. Now, you're not actually your hand gives out way before your actual muscle, and that's why I started to feel like I could push 1 to 2 more reps. Not way more. That's a mistake, but certainly not as much. Maybe you can pump out 1 to 2 more reps with these, and really pushing for that max muscle hypertrophy. Now here's the real deal. This is sort of a subtle game changer, but it's not a total one. You don't really need to rely on this, and it's more of a cliche niche thing that sort of optimizes you in the gym and just daily life if you're in the winter especially. This is really good if you're going to the gym, especially like with these gloves, because then you're just covered. Like you got your hands with gloves and you can go lift in the gym and know that you're actually going to true failure. Hope you guys have a good one and you found this pretty helpful. See ya.